Hi everyone, how are you all doing? My name is Natalie. If this is the first time that you're watching my videos, thank you so much for being here. I hope that if you enjoy what I do and share on this channel, you can consider subscribe and share it with your friends. I'm a Western tropical astrologer and I use a whole sign house system for all my forecasts and readings. In this video, we're looking into the week of September 15th to 21st of 2025. We have a fully packed and busy week, and we are also in the midst of eclipse season. This week we are welcoming the second of the two eclipses that we are having by the end of the week. But remember, the energy of eclipse is throughout the whole month. The 2 weeks before and after we have both eclipses, so the energy will definitely still be felt after this week, probably the next week or so. So this week we start off with something a little lighter, a little more joyful and happy, but the energy will continue to build up and accumulate until we reach that partial solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo, which we'll talk about at the end. First of all, Monday on the 15th, we have Venus in Leo sextile Mars in Libra at 25 degrees. This is a more fun, light-hearted sextile between Venus and Mars. Of course, definitely a lovely day to go on a date, but this energy does not limit to only romantic partnership. This is a energy where you might find yourself just simply having a fun conversation with your friend, catching up with your bestie, hanging out with them, enjoying a lovely time with your loved ones, your family, siblings, friends. It can be a great day to do whatever your heart's desire. Venus in Leo is very creative, so today can be a day of creativity. Do something that you're passionate about. Maybe this is something related to any kind of art, painting, drawing, writing music, whatever that makes your heart happy, something that you want to pursue, something that you want to do. Mars in Libra, this is about using your words and idea to take action, to advocate, right? Libra is the sign of peaceful warriors. It is about using all these energies to organize, to create events or workshops or organize protests or events, to advocate for something that you want to stand up for, that you want to speak up about, that you're passionate about, to create meaningful connections, whether this is individually or on a collective level. The next day on 16, we have Venus in Leo that is going to trine Chiron retrograde in the sign of Aries, and Mars in Libra is going to oppose Chiron retrograde in the sign of Aries. So both planets are aspecting Chiron and Aries at 26 degrees. So today can feel slightly heavier. This is a day where we are being invited to look into our wounds, our traumas, or our healing journey, right? The Mars opposing Chiron is giving us a little bit of a tough moment. Perhaps something is resurfacing, but Venus in Leo wants to remind us to love ourselves through it all, whether this is by starting or continuing our healing journey. This is embracing ourselves, facing our traumas and wounds, and allowing ourselves to receive and asking for the help that we need. Maybe this is talking about it with a trusted friend, family member, or someone that you want to seek advice or help from, a healer, consultants, psychologists, astrologers, whoever that you feel comfortable sharing with as well. Wednesday on the 17th, we literally have something happening every single day. But remember, all these aspects that I'm sharing with you, it doesn't mean that every single one of us will feel every single one of them. Remember always to check in with your own chart. If you have planets or point that is closely aspecting what I mentioned, that's why I always share with you the sign, the planet, the degree that all these aspects are happening. If you are closer to those degree points, yes, it might affect you more, you might feel it more, and it might show up for us differently as well, because all our natal chart are not the same. So on Wednesday, we have Mercury in Virgo opposing Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 28 degrees. So today can definitely feel more of a reality check, a moment of sobering. It can be a day where we might receive a rejection or a no instead of the yes that we were looking for. This can be a little bit of a Debbie Downer. It can be a day where you might feel a bit bumped out. There might be a restriction or block coming up for you in some way, right? Especially in those houses, perhaps. It can be a day where some of us might need to have some kind of tough conversation, an uneasy conversation to face something that might not be easy peasy. And it can have to do with some kind of issue related to your boss, someone you work with, maybe someone in the position of authority, elder, parent, so on and so forth. For some, this can be business related. This is the ending or a breaking of a contract, like the project is not gonna come through, or so on and so forth. So it's just like a day where we are receiving that no or rejection. But know that this is not forever. This is temporary. And depending on your own human story, it might manifest in different ways. This can be a breaking up of a relationship or friendship or whatever I've just mentioned. And remember, this no, this rejection, even though can be really tough at the moment, but trust that it is also going to redirect you perhaps to something that is more aligned with you down the road. And I love that we're having this kind of wiping clean, like a clearing aspect with Mercury, because the next day Mercury will enter to a brand new sign. So it's almost like wiping the slate clean, having that clear-cut energy, because Mercury is going to enter Libra the next day on 18. So on 18, 3:05 a.m. Pacific time or 6:05 p.m. Hong Kong time, Mercury is going to enter Libra and will stay there until October the 6th. Mercury in Libra is definitely different energy. It's going to bring up the scale within all of us and invite us to use it when it comes to the way we communicate, we think, and express ourselves. Mercury in Libra is more of a collaborative energy. So Mercury in Libra likes to participate in collaboration, want to know what everyone is thinking, where are they in their thinking process. So this can definitely be a transit where you find yourself in collaboration with others, in group chats, working on group projects or assignments, or you want to collaborate with someone or someone want to invite you to their collaboration. You might find yourself engaging to group conversation in community, maybe speaking up and expressing your idea for a collective cause, right? Libra is also a sign that talks about relationships. So during this transit, you might find yourself talking about your relationship, whether this is platonic, romantic, or any close one-on-one relationship. Of course, Mercury in Libra, as always, there are light and shadow attribute. Because of that collaborative energy and that not wanting to rock the boat energy, trying to balance the scale constantly, Mercury in Libra can tend to be indecisive and is like constantly weighing the pros and cons and end up missing opportunity or not wanting to rock the boat or not sharing your own idea, and that can cause some kind of misfortune. And this can also be wanting to be a people pleaser or trying to manipulate the situation to have people on your side. So be mindful with how you use or how others use those energy during this transit as well. Like I said, Libra is the sign of scale, so it is definitely related to legal matters, justice, and fairness. During Mercury in Libra, we are definitely hearing those news more often. And with what is happening with the world, we are definitely hearing it. We have been hearing it constantly already. And this energy might be magnified in the next couple of weeks until early October. Some of us might find ourselves in legal matters, legal battles even. We might see some big cases news coming up. I know there is some news regarding to the Epstein files that is continue to surfacing, and the eclipse actually aspecting the last one that we just had, aspect Epstein's natal chart. Yes, even after a person is passed, their natal chart is still very much alive, and it can sometimes manifest in that way as well. So we are definitely going to see more of that unfolding. We are definitely seeing all those world suffering news coming up, and there might be more people waking up, speaking up because of this Mercury in Libra transit, and also of these eclipses energy that really bring up our collective cause, liberation, and healing energy coming up. And there might be more people that will speak up, create awareness to invite more people to take action and speak up for the cause as well. Right after Mercury enters Libra, just like other sign, whatever planet that enters Libra will also engage with the following aspect, which is the opposition with Neptune, which is retrograding in Aries right now, trine Uranus in Gemini, and trine Pluto in Aquarius. All of them are in retrograde. So all these aspects coming up together, ping-ponging each other, it can definitely be an overwhelming of mercurial energy. So overstimulation of our mental mind with perhaps what is happening in your life or what is happening on a collective level. So do make sure you take care of yourself. You have your grounding tools. The opposition with Neptune can be a moment of brain fog, Mercury retrograde happening. It can create some kind of delusion energy and confusing state of mind or collective messages, individually or collective level. So perhaps also with the mix of Uranus and Plutonian energy within it, there might be news coming from all different angles. And there might be mixed messages, there might be mixed news, miscommunication, misinformation. So do watch out for scam, propaganda, breaches of information as it is tech related with Uranus. So this can be messy. This week, with all these energy combined, so practice discernment, fact check, and make sure you are taking a look at your calendar, double checking, because this week, for especially Wednesday, Thursday, can feel like a moment of Mercury retrograde. So make sure you are spacing out your schedules. You know, there might be some little delayed or miscommunication. So do be mindful of that. On the 19th, Friday, also fun fact, Friday is ruled by Venus. We have Venus changing signs. So what a coincidence. And Venus is going to enter Virgo at 5:39 a.m. Pacific time and 8:39 p.m. Hong Kong time. Venus will stay in Virgo until October 13 or 14, depending where you are in the world. Venus is set to be at its fall in the sign of Virgo, meaning that Venus is not as strong and expressive and powerful in the sign of Virgo, because Venus talks about pleasure, indulgence, relationship, values, and your heart's desires. And these topics might be a little bit hard to enjoy in the sign of a very mercurial, logical sign of Virgo, when it is often talking about analyzing things, overthinking things, and being critical of self and or others. So the energy can crash a little bit here. However, it just simply also means that all these Venusian topics is going to express themselves in the energy of Virgo, which is actually not bad. Actually, you might like it because I find some of them quite lovely as well. So Venus in Virgo cares about all the little things. It's all about the tiny gesture, remembering the little things that matters. It's definitely not about very different from Venus in Leo. It doesn't care about those luxurious splurge or big grandiose gesture. This is more about that subtle little things. Like for example, if like let's say I mentioned that I was craving the snack, right? 2 days ago, and then today my other half came in and actually brought it for me. So this is his way of showing he cares about remembering all these little things, right? The little things that I've just mentioned. So this can be an example, right? And suddenly during Venus in Virgo, perhaps the little things like home chores, taking out the trash and helping out to wash dishes become a sexy move in a partnership. Or this is the way that you will express your love for your roommates, people you live with, right? Let me help you out with this. Let me do that for you. This is about the act of service. So during this transit, you or others might find yourself engaging, embodying this energy. So this is about attending to those little details of people around you to show that you care, right? And this is definitely a great time to declutter and clean as well, whether this is your closet, your home, reorganizing your bookshelves, clearing out things that no longer maybe suits you or whatnot, and giving them away to people that might actually need them. Venus in Virgo also talk about our embodiment, right? It talks about our physical health. Virgo rules our digestive system, right? And Virgo often relates to wellness, earth energy, nourishing our bodies, herbalisms, and earth magic. So during this transit, you might find yourself interested or exploring all these topics. Maybe this is a time where you want to schedule some checkups. Maybe this is the time that you want to dabble and explore some herbalist workshop, or you might find a herbalist to explore some ways to cook up some new recipes to tend to your body, to nourish your body, try out different recipes, cooking and nourishing your body, and maybe perhaps you're paying attention to your gut health or your digestive system as well. The next day, Venus in Virgo is going to square Uranus retrograding in Gemini at 1 degree. So this can be a day where sudden changes might happen within all those Venusian topics, right? Yes, energy goes both ways. This can be a day of breakup or breakthrough. Maybe this is a sudden change in a friendship or relationship. Yes, this can lead to perhaps people breaking up, or perhaps turn a new chapter in their relationships. This can be something that is out of the blue, out of the box. This can be, let's do something totally different, right? You might be trying out a new restaurant. You might enjoy or engage in a totally new experience with your friends, your lover, your loved ones, right? This can also be a sudden revelation within yourself that comes up that will change your certain values or belief system or patterns today, because Venus relates to our values, our belief system as well. So all these are the possible manifestations. And now, let's talk about the most anticipating event that is happening this week, which is our partial solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo, happening September 21st, 12:54 p.m. Pacific time, or 22nd, 3:54 a.m. Hong Kong time. So adjust the time according to where you are in the world. This partial solar eclipse in Virgo is happening with the sun and the moon at the 29 degrees in the sign of Virgo, which is the last and final degree of a sign, the anaretic degree. This is also a south node eclipse. This is a solar eclipse, which is a new moon, so it is also a dark moon. It is opposing Saturn. We also have Mars in Libra at its final anaretic degree in the sign of Libra. So all these different aspects that is happening that I've just shared, all these point to the energy of letting go, of ending, of purging, and just like crashing out. So if there's only one advice that I can share that can be useful for every single one of us from this eclipse, is try not to, if possible, I know it is not always possible for everybody, but if it's possible, try not to schedule too many things or anything if possible during this weekend. When there is so much energy at that point to some kind of purging, letting go, our body is feeling it. Remember, we are, no matter what gender you are or associate with, our human body is very much in tune with the moon, the moon energy. So during this kind of eclipse, our body crash out. We can just simply feel so tired and just like washed out, exhausted by the end of the week, with also on top of all these energy that is happening that I've just mentioned earlier of the week. So if possible this weekend, have some downtime, try to prioritize rest, attend to your nervous system, your grounding tools, give yourself to just simply rest. Perhaps all you need is just sleep the whole day, right? If that is the case, take it. Maybe this is you doing nothing and just decompress, right? That's what your body needs. So listen to your body. Try to, because Virgo also rules your digestive system, it might be a literal purge, through your digestive system. Okay, wink wink. So for some people, maybe you want to make sure you are paying attention to what you're eating towards the end of the week as well. With that much energy of purging, letting go, ending, this eclipse can in some way, on a positive note, can help you release something that you have been trying to hold on to your dear life, and it is hard. Okay, some of us will definitely feel that energy of not wanting but knowing that you need to let go of something, right? This might be a belief system, an old pattern, self-limiting belief, self-doubt, self-criticism, self-judgment. This can be, a routine structure that is really no longer serving you. Maybe this is a belief, a mentality, a mindset that is not good for you. Maybe this is a situation, a relationship, or even a career, that is just like no longer resonating. Maybe this is a belief system, right? Whatever it is, perhaps deep down or maybe you don't, but this is kind of like that last push for you to see that perhaps this is not what you want in the long run. This might not be something you want to continue to pour in or build beyond yourself, right? So see what is coming up for you. Again, of course, take a look and see which house is ruled by Virgo. What are the themes, topics, areas of life is that about? So everyone might feel this energy differently. If you have any planets or point close to that anaretic degree, you are definitely feeling it. And since I did say Virgo rules our digestive system, for some this can be super literal, and it can be just a bad day of food poisoning. So really be mindful of what you are putting in your body during the weekend. This can be like a bad trip to the washroom and even end up in ER for some, literally. I see a couple of my clients experience that before, so that is why I'm putting it out there. So be careful of what you're putting in your body. But of course, Other than that, it can also be what you're consuming, right? For example, the news, the information, the conversation, right? Whatever you're consuming, right? All these things, make sure that you are also practicing discernment, fact-checking, because perhaps this eclipse is going to help some of us to purge, to realizing a collapse of certain patterns or belief system that we have been holding on to. And on a collective level, of course, definitely seeing that playing out. I mean, we can definitely see that already, because last eclipse also have that energy, and perhaps this eclipse is giving that second push, that final push, that is really allowing things to be seen, and maybe perhaps nudging more of us to wake up and see the collapse of the system that is happening around the world, and realizing that this is no longer supporting us, and this is time to wake up and find a better way for us as a collective. This eclipse also opposed Saturn, which recently retrograde back into Pisces. So perhaps something that is coming up for some of us, it is about something that you have been trying to build for perhaps the last 6 months, or perhaps the last couple of years. Of course, this can be like a career you've been trying to build. Maybe this is an area of your life, a relationship, a situation, you know, whatever that is moving through you. This is about realizing that for some people, not all might resonate, but for some, it is something that you have been building, and realizing that this is actually not what you want to build. This is perhaps a false start. And it's hard. It's a very, very tough pill to swallow, to know that, you know, I have been wanting to do this, but hey, it's actually not coming through. Or maybe perhaps something changed within you. Now that you see, now that you've tried, now that you have given it a go, you're realizing, hey, you know, actually I don't want this. I don't want to continue to do this anymore. It's time for a change. Maybe this value or system no longer align with this version of myself, and I am going to just switch path. I am not going to continue to build on it anymore. It's time to let it go, right? It's a sobering moment, realizing that, hey, maybe this is not the legacy I want to build, that I want to leave beyond me, right? On a collective level, this eclipse can also escalate, unfortunately, the world suffering, which is something I hate to say and predict, but this might be happening because more of us need to have that rude wake-up call, which I find it very difficult to say, because I mean, how much more do we need to see to know the truth and finally take action and do something about it? Because everyone can do something about it if we choose to. Anyway, I digress. I also want to mention that the sun often refers to world leaders. You know, that solar energy often refers to powerful figures, people, system, organization in the world. Having the sun and moon opposing Saturn, which is Saturn often can relate to endings, right? That ending energy. Having this opposition between the sun and Saturn, I'm not trying to predict someone's death, but that energy is there. So we might want to pay attention to the news of what is happening this week, especially towards the week, probably also next week. But we are definitely seeing a big purging, letting go energy individually and on a collective level. The ruler of this eclipse is Mercury, that just recently entered Libra. We've just talked about Mercury in Libra energy. It is a strong Mercury because Mercury is direct, not in retrograde. Mercury also have triplicity in Libra, so it's strong. It's a good Mercury ruling this eclipse. So having all these energy I've just mentioned, it's definitely bringing up a lot of sobering moment and realization for all of us in different ways, whether it is in our life or on a collective level. Lastly, I do want to talk about the Deacon and the tarot card that relates to this eclipse. It is happening at 29 degrees, which is the third decan in the sign of Virgo. And the third decan of Virgo is represented by this 10 of Pentacle cards. This is the last final card in the Pentacle suits, right? But this also talks about the legacy that you want to build, the perhaps even generational wealth. This can relate to what is it that you want to build for yourself. What do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered, by your future generation, by younger generation? Because to be honest, all of us are going to be someone else's ancestor later. So how do you want to be remembered, right? What do you stand up for? What are your values? What are you trying to build that you want to last beyond you? And like I said, how do you want to be remembered by other people that is beyond you? So perhaps this might bring up what I said before, right? The structure or the legacy you're trying to build for yourself, right? Perhaps some kind of structure, system, patterns within you that is no longer supporting you, or your values no longer align. This is the time to realizing that and ask yourself, what is it that you want to build? So this is a moment to go inward, just like the card of Virgo, right? The Hermit card, which is Virgo. This is about going inward, right? This eclipse can be really loud, but more of an internal energy. This is a sobering moment for all of us, right? Individually. And how this energy is showing up in the collective also affects us individually. And it's asking us all these questions as well. And lastly, the Oracle card for us. This is our collective message from the eclipse. We have Loyal Hearts, card 35. And if you look at this card right now, you see all these heart shape that is being formed by the owls, and they're standing on top of an, I don't know what I want to say, egg. Looks like an egg, and there's also a heart. And when you look at the heart, it is also a reflection, right? If you fold them in half, they are exactly the same, and they are looking at each other right now, seeing the reflection of each other. So in some way, I feel like this card is asking us to look at the mirror, right? Look at our reflection, look within ourselves, within our hearts. Are you being loyal to your heart's desire of the legacy you want to leave behind, of whatever that you want to build, whatever you want to stand up for, speak up about, right? How do you want to be perceived, looked at, remembered? This is the time to ask yourself these questions, and are they aligning with the current version of yourself? So I hope this video helped in some way, shape, or form. Perhaps one of the messages that I've shared might help you move through the week. And I thank you so much for being here, sending you all so much love. Take care of yourself. Try to have a restful week and attend to your body, your mind, your emotions. We are moving through some big energies, so take care of yourself. And if you're interested to work with me, my information are in the description box below, and I'll see you next time.